John from DominoWorldRecord.com here with another episode of This Day in Domino History. On March 30th, 1977, British college student Michael Cairney set a new world record by toppling 33,266 dominoes in London, and he did it on the BBC TV show The Record Breakers. The last time Eras or I had had contact with Michael Cairney was way back in May of 1986 when we worked on a big domino topple together. Haven't communicated with Michael ever since, but through the beauty of the internet today, I was able to recently track him down online and emailed him, and sure enough, I got the right Michael Cairney, and he remembered me in Eras. He told us some interesting stories that we never knew leading up to this world record topple that he did. It turns out it was actually Bob Specka who inspired Michael Cairney to try a domino toppling world record. When Michael was visiting the United States during the summer of 1976, he went to the Guinness Museum in the basement of the Empire State Building in New York and saw a video playing on loop there of Bob's 15,000 domino record, one of his early ones. Then when Michael returned home to the UK to start his last year at Leeds University, in the fall, they have what they call RAG Week, which is raising and giving. It's a student charity week. Michael was in talks with people about, what kind of stunt or something could we do to raise some money. And he remembered this domino topple tape he saw. He said, I fancy a go at that, as he said in the email to me. So he decided to go after the world record, and he had never toppled dominoes before. So the record Michael had to beat at that point was Bob Specka's 22,222 mark. Michael managed to source over 30,000 factory reject dominoes from a British company, J.W. Spears, and they manufactured the Greyhound brand of dominoes. So he got his dominoes, then he got a large space at his university, but the floor apparently, as Michael tells me, had two very different parts to it. The main part of the floor was wood on concrete foundation, which was perfect for dominoes. But the other section of the floor was what was called a sprung floor, which is more of an area for dancing. And so it had some springs, some give to it, and it vibrated. And so the dominoes, when he did his topple, the dominoes on the main part of the floor with the concrete foundation fell perfectly. But when it got to the sprung floor part, a lot of the dominoes had kind of jiggled out of place over time, and so they had a lot of failures, and he ended up falling short of beating Bob's record. Learned a lot of lessons from that, but he actually didn't get the world record at that point. So early the next year in 1977, the BBC contacted Michael about trying again for the domino record on their wildly popular show, The Record Breakers, which covered people trying to break Guinness World Records. They found a perfect space. This time it was going to be in London at King's College. They found a perfect space with a solid parquet floor, no sprung dance floors here. And Michael had enough dominoes he wanted to try for 33,333, which would take him 3 days to set up. So a couple of days before Michael was going to start setting up those dominoes, the BBC lighting crew came by to set up the lighting that they would need for filming this. And when Michael put several of these black dominoes on this dark brown parquet floor, the crew realized, oh, we're going to need a lot of lights here to get this thing illuminated properly. And eventually, by the time they figured out what they were going to need, they also had to bring in a mobile power generator because the hall there at the college didn't have enough capacity circuit-wise to handle all the lights they were going to have. So Michael was real worried going into this, but they got that all taken care of. So he got his dominoes set up, and then he was ready to topple them. 33,333 dominoes. The host of the show, Roy Castle, was there, who he tells me is a broadcast legend in the UK. And also there was Norris McWhirter. He actually was going to witness the dominoes falling. Now, Norris, along with his twin brother Ross, were the creators of the Guinness Book of World Records. So it was very cool that Norris McWhirter was going to actually witness this world record. So with the cameras finally rolling, Michael went over there and gave that first domino a push, starting the chain falling. And Norris McWhirter was right there watching like a hawk intently as the dominoes fell back and forth. And then near the end of the chain, Michael had written out the name of the show, The Record Breakers, in very fancy lettering. However, part of one of the letters didn't fall. The chain didn't stop, made it all the way to the end, but once the chain finished, Norris had to go over there and count the dominoes that still stood. He came back and told Michael that only 67 dominoes were still standing, so he would be credited with a world record of 33,266 dominoes. So this day in domino history, it took him 2 tries, but Michael Cairney had his world record. We'll catch you on the next This Day in Domino History. Until then, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, X, and YouTube, and you can check out our website, dominoworldrecord.com, for all our latest news.